programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America. We do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally. And we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about in language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Welcome, welcome. How are you, Megan? You muted there.
Hello, how are you doing, Lloyd?
Fantastic. We're glad to have you on the Startup on the Blocks program today. And we're going to first off, we're going to kind of make sure we give thanks to our sponsors. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and do that, and then we'll get your introduction in there. So let's go. Where are you? Okay, I got my thing here, and it says it's shared. So why am I not seeing it on the screen here? Let's go here. Okay, there it is. It was trying to be a little elusive there. Yeah, so first off, we want to give thanks to our sponsors for supporting Startup on the Blocks. And without them, Megan, I guess we wouldn't be able to do things like the BIT Idea Accelerator that you're participating in. So it's really means a lot to have sponsors that come in and support, Black founders and founders in general getting trained on this on these best practices. So, what do you think about our sponsors there?
A lot. That's definitely a lot of sponsors and a lot of resources.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so we met you through the Blacks in Technology Foundation, and so we're glad of that. And like I said, we just give a shout out to our streaming partner, Bantucola. We definitely appreciate what they do, and both the chambers, the local minority chamber and Pensacola chamber. So, and we're definitely thankful for like Florida Power and Light because they're the ones that initially funded our Lean Stack platform that you're getting your training on, and now Blacks in Technology Foundation is helping fund that as well. And have you got started in the Startup Science platform yet, Megan?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe I did essentially start it. I really enjoy like how you have the sessions there so you can learn so much. And it's so easy to go through it. And it's a lot, like I was saying, it's definitely a lot once you go into the
Yeah.
platform to learn. So I need time to get through it, but I can say, like, for example, if you're in a specific type of like you're in a specific process that's in your journey as a startup or a small business, you can actually go there and probably troubleshoot what you're having problems and issues with because there's solutions for everything, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot to learn, but there's definitely a methodology that you go through, and so you just have to follow the methodology and kind of move forward there. So so why don't you give us a minute or two introduction about yourself?
Yes, definitely. Thank you again, Lloyd, for having me here today and Startups on the Blocks. Essentially, of course, my name is Megan, and I am the founder of Nailers, a beauty tech SaaS company. And I am essentially a non-tech founder, first generation Caribbean American. I started my journey as an artist and also in business. I always had a passion for creating and also just learning about essentially economic wealth and learning about having financial freedom for oneself, and also how to create ideas and how people turn it into businesses, right? When you think of all these creative things that come about, um, being a creator, you come with a lot of different ideas. Um, so during my journey, just learning about essentially what is actually just an idea and what can actually help solve problems within the community. So,
Fantastic.
um, yeah, so I would have to say, for me, my main focus was for self development. That's how I got into it. I wanted to learn about business. So I essentially went back to school and I attended City College of New York as a double major in public relations and theater because I love the arts. And I also yeah, I also want to learn structure and how things work. Like if you think about advertising and public relations, I heard that PR word going about, but it's like every time something goes about, like mainstream, even company wise, big companies, you think about who is having that conversation and the voice for them on the back end, and that's
Mhm.
PR. So I wanted to learn like the structures of how businesses work, and um, shout outs to City College. Their program, their ad and PR program is amazing because they break down the concepts of big businesses and how they basically market themselves, how they essentially started from just an idea and
Mhm.
developed. So I say essentially for myself, I was just drawn to it and passionate about it. It was and I had the opportunity. When I got into City College, I was a double major and also a minor in publishing because I wanted to learn about the
Wow. So you were,
or
you
yeah.
were, yes.
So when I had some free time, they have like programs that you go and see if college, they have tons of stuff going on. So there was one of these programs they had at Zahn Center. So shout outs to Zahn Center too. They're a part of City College, but they're like their own entity. But they basically have a program, or even like they have sessions sometimes. So I went to one of their sessions, and they were like something about a lean model canvas.
Okay. Okay.
So I was like, I don't understand what this is about. So they like come to the session and they had this piece of paper, all these boxes and key metrics and all these things that you're thinking like, how can I do this? Right. And I put myself to the test, and I love getting my nails done. That's my thing,
Okay.
especially when I was younger. Going through the journey, it's a lot. Like I said, double major minor, can't do it all the time. Money restraints, just learning the industry and research and being realistic. But I still love it, and just having years experience it, going through it as a consumer, I've learned all of the problems, and I have actually been in touch with the expansion of independent nail technicians that have been, entering the market and working for themselves and learning how to basically start a business in the nail industry. So, I had this idea at the Zahn Center, and I've managed to finish the lean monitor Canva, and I showed it to one of the directors there, Keisha Hassan, and
Okay.
she said, "I think you should really start this idea. We actually have a competition coming up for $25,000 and etc." And I'm like, "For what? Like, I don't think I could do this." Like,
$5,000.
right. Like I'm like, I don't think this is for me. Cause as you think about coming from where I'm coming, I'm Caribbean first generation, but I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. So those type of opportunities are not like, it's unrealistic. that's Silicon Valley stuff. That's Facebook stuff. So when you think about that, you think like, oh, that's not for me. So you shy away from it. But like I said, shout outs to Keisha, another fellow Black woman. She just pushed me towards understanding like you deserve to be here. So um, I applied. It was a 10-page application, guys. So let me tell you that you have to put in the work. Um, it was a 10-page application. I stayed all night up and I got into the program. So that was the first journey, the beginning of my experience at startup. And during that time, I just had the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we were going through the program, they're teaching you how to develop your idea, and they were using the lean startup approach, right?
Mm-hmm.
This process, and it was a rigorous course. So mind you, I'm a double major and minor, and I was a senior at the time, so
Okay.
I had to do an internship, and then I also had to like after class, I had to also do the cohort. So I had to go to the cohort for 2 hours, and then we did it for 3 months, but at the end of every month, we did something called the round table. So that's
Okay.
basically where we pitch, and then at the end we had like a final pitch to where we essentially went for runner up. And I'm so grateful for going through that program and learning about the lean startup and believing in myself. Not just that, like, you gain the courage to like believe in yourself and know how, like, hearing stories about people coming in that are entrepreneurs or people that are working for big companies and explaining to you concepts that you can use to help build your business from scratch. So that's where I was going through and learning so much. And I went through the program, and I got became a prize winning startup, and I started continue my journey. I had to learn, what do I need next, right? So going through that 3 months, we developed our community, where we actually test in the market, right? So example, we did research in the market, right? And
Okay.
the reason why I say that with the research in the market, it's pertaining to, does you do the people in the market, like, first you have to determine, for me, I had the nail industry, right? So once you determine your market, it's like, does the people in the players in the industry, do they need your problem, and they're solving the problems? So
Mm-hmm.
I actually went out and I talked to people, and that was hard to do.
Okay.
Some people taught me, like, but some people, you had, when you explain the idea to them and you go through the concept, because I created like questionnaires for them, and I really got responses back based off of my hypothesis on what exactly, is it right, is it true what I'm saying, like, if I create these features, if I do this, is this right? And once I went through that synopsis, it made me feel even more stronger about my idea. So I moved forward, even applying for more different competitions after going and winning that competition, because once you learn more, it's like the tip of the iceberg, because I just started, and then you learn, like, okay, that money is not going to do nothing, especially in technology. Like, 4 digits is not going to do anything.
Okay.
And there's some people who have something called like a cash flow, where they essentially have extra money, just like a cushion in case something goes wrong. So
Uh-huh.
just learning different concepts of how to be realistic about where you're at. Like I was
Mhm.
telling Lord before, like, I have a team. I'm so grateful for my team. Some of them I know from college, and some of them I met from communities like this one, right?
Okay.
So I spoke to people who understand the idea, that understand how passionate they're about my idea, and as well as the company, and they get the community. So they joined on board. And one thing that's important is your team, because I don't know how to code, but
Oh,
I have someone on my team that know how to code. And I don't know UX and UI design, but I have someone on my team that does that. So, during that journey, I developed my team. And you learn from your mistakes as well.
yeah.
Everything is not set in stone. You're just starting. Like, I'm just starting. I'm still in startup
Mhm.
phase, because you have to go through the phase with the lean startup approach. That's how we did it. We went from idea, we tested our idea, and now we're in the process of our after our manual beta testing, we're actually going to run that test. So once we got that check where people are like, we have our waiting list where I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this. And I would love for you guys to join. And if you want to get a walkthrough of the application, and also we have a free app. And one thing we're offering for nailers is essentially exclusively for players in the nail industry to essentially help support them within their community. So we're building a back-end software solution for independent nail technicians with a booking system. So if you think about the explosion of nails right now, right? People are setting their prices on Instagram. Some people you may know in your own communities are doing their own thing, which is amazing. But you got to think about the structure wise, right? A lot of nail technicians are spending $20 to $30 a month just to maintain their scheduling system, right? And sometimes if when you click on it, like the scheduling link is not working and it's a whole bunch of issues, right? We want to cut some of those problems out, as well as for clients when they're getting their nails done and at the end they're like, wow, I just paid for this, I have to pay for this service and I didn't even like what I got. So you're basically getting an opportunity to see what your nail technician is going to give you before you get it. You get to leave positive reviews. Any negative reviews we take on the back end, and we strike nail technicians. Then after a certain amount of strikes, we remove them. So we want to be the middleman to where we're actually supporting both sides, and we're eliminating some of the problems that I faced within experience as a nail experiencing going through the nail industry, and what other people are experiencing starting their business as a nail technician. And on a higher scale, if you think about it, and every thousand, like I say every 3 to 9 months, there's thousands of independent nail technicians graduating from beauty tech schools and also nail programs. And if they don't have guaranteed job placement, they're not guaranteed job placement at all. I literally was on the phone with beauty schools calling them. They don't guarantee job placement. So if you don't have any clients or you don't have a salon, you're not going to make your money back, right? So you have to pay for a scheduling system, and you may not even have clients. So now you're running a schedule system that you have to pay for, and then you have to pay for materials, right? So we think about all that concept, and we're trying to eliminate the cost with our with the scheduling system for them. Not to mention offering an opportunity in your community. When you go to the nail salons in inner city communities, there's a lot of people who don't look like us that's serving us. And how are we giving back to that economic dollar? So we want to support the people in that community because you're graduating from that community. We want to give back, and we want to help support those people as well as connecting them with that application. So that's pretty much where we're at right now with the process. My team, we're on the process of completing the application because we had some technical issues with getting the app online. So we're on the process of developing our soft launch, because you got to think implementation on the back end with cloud infrastructure and all of that. So we had some debugging issues. But during that process, we still talk to our customers. We still engage with them in the community. We still ask them questions, like, we went through walkthroughs before we had a tangible features to where they can click on things. We literally had just like a Figma application where we just had essentially screens before we actually had clickable screens. So it's all a process, and just taking your time to use your resources like Bit and essentially other programs I've been a part of, and I'm so grateful for, to also have amazing mentors that I've also gained along the way to help me, because I don't know it all, and I'm to be realistic about everything. I don't know it all, and you got to be honest about where you're at. Because before, when I first started, I was like, oh my God, I got to do everything, I got to make it happen. But you got to schedule yourself, and you got to take the time for yourself so you can be able to get on and move forward in the next day. So right now we're focusing on having a solid, and you will learn, guys, like you will learn like how you want to fund your business. because some people, you may want to take out a loan. Like I know some founders who are doing loans. That's not my thing, but I rather, apply for accelerator programs and do cohorts. And I rather, I'm in talks with learning about you. You're learning about that too. That's a process too, like building relationships with VCs and choosing the right one too, guys. Because I had an offer, a big offer, but it's not about that. It's about making sure that you're taking the right offer, because you don't want to sign for anybody, and your vision and everything is not aligned with that. So it's just learning about the whole journey. And right now we're in the process of funding. I mean, we're raising funds, so we're looking for to help support with our payroll, because I have my team with me, and we have reoccurring expenses. I do have a team that's international, that's in Uganda, that's coding. So I pay for their internet access. We do have legal expenses for essentially starting the business and starting rolling out. And that's one thing that I was told, like just going through sessions and learning about the starting the process, like, because if someone's serious about investing in you, it doesn't matter if you don't even have an LLC. If you just have an idea, if someone's serious and they know you're passionate, they're gonna invest. So just focusing on what's important and just refining my pitch, refining my story, um, you know, building more resources, and just getting to completing the task, because you have your goal set, you know what you have to do, you have the lean startup approach. So all you have to do is just to continue follow that. So I would love for you guys to follow us in our journey. So I'm going to share my newsletter here. Here is where you guys can sign up, and we will essentially, one of the people on my team will reach out to you guys. And we also we're going to also be giving walkthroughs of the application. So once we get that, we'll reach out to you guys, and if you're interested, we would love to hear your thoughts. And we, like I was telling Lloyd, I had a little compromise with my social media. So we got hacked on our social media, on IG and Facebook. So if you follow tonight, don't follow that page, because we got hacked. But we do still have, thank God, our Twitter and our TikTok. But we will, moving forward, because we're working on our soft launch to start onboarding with our early adapters. And once you guys learn that, it's not a big, you know, essentially a big launch. We want to focus on working with that target audience first, making sure we can refine our features, and then we get an even bigger launch. So it's a process, and also, it's a journey, and I'm just so grateful, because it's also helping me, like as a professional, in business and just being a creator. So I, like I said again, just thank you, Lloyd, for having me here today, and yeah, thank you guys so much.
All righty, that's a great story. So your audience, you can start posting your questions. I got a ton of questions, but I want to see if the audience have any questions, and they may ask the same questions that I have. So when you talk about all those team members, the first question that the audience may be thinking about, well, how does she get all these team members, and she haven't even launched her app yet. So what was your approach for recruiting team members again?
Okay, so I've learned that approach through and one thing I say, guys, because you got to push through. Like, I'm an artist, yeah, but you give me a script, I'm scripted, I go home, right? That's a little different than you have to really be organic and talking to people and saying, "Hey, can you help me?" with no pay. So it's hard to do that, but you got to think about leverage, right? I used it in terms of, during I was in college at the time. So during the time I needed to recruit like two other people to go through the cohort, my first song.
Yes.
So I had to think. They said think of things that at first they helped me through that, like, because I was building an app, right? So what do I
Mhm.
need in my app? I need someone who codes, I need someone who does UX and UI, and I need someone to help me marketing, right? And graphics.
Mhm.
So at the beginning, I had two graphic designers.
Okay.
They were helping me also with doing things on the back end, like working documents and stuff like that. Also, we did something called a wireframe. So it's just like developing the small stuff and going through like
Mhm.
developing consumer segments and refining like exactly what you want. That's why I say like inner city community nail independent nail technicians in the New York area testing, just learning exactly who do you want to start with first, because sometimes you have like a array of customer segments, but you want to start off one place and then expand, right? So
Yeah.
that's why when you see like other companies when they get big and have so much different ideas, is because they started small and then expand. So me, I
Yeah.
just was learning to refine. So when
Gotcha.
I build up, yeah, exactly.
So Carlos got a question. What is your target market?
Yes. So my target market is essentially on the B2B side. We're looking for independent nail technicians within the New York City area to start. So we're starting from age 16 and up. Essentially, we want to start with people um, who are able to receive their license. So, like we say again about doing research about your industry. Like, I understand that you can be like 16 and up in order to do nail services. So that's why we start with we're targeting specifically 16 ages 16, and we said
Okay.
New York City because that's the sample size we're starting with.
That's great, great. Yeah, so you mentioned something, and so when I asked you about recruiting team, people on your team, and you said um, that you actually in the program you got into you actually invited them to go through the cohort with you. So that was an interesting approach.
Yes, and another way I did it was, you got to think about this, right? They You got to go to people who are passionate about the industry they're in. A coder is passionate about coding. A graphic designer is passionate about graphic designer. That's why they call themselves that, right?
Hmm.
So I strategically went to departments like a who's studying graphic design, who was in graphic design class, or graphic concept 101.
Hmm.
I literally went through the city college. I went through the um, to see what are out there, like what kind of classes they have. So I'm like, okay, I reached out to people that were in there, like, hey, anyone who's interested in getting extra credit, right? You need credit as a student. So I even had people that were in my on my team that had got some big jobs through working in a startup, so you had to leveraging that. They used that in on their resume as in their position, and that's how essentially how I leveraged it. I let them know like, you can use that as experience, and in exchange help me build networks.
Yes. So I'm going to put that question back up, but I want to make sure in a timely thing. Eric is got a little saying, so he's commending you about seeking out people who are passionate about their profession. So that's good. So I'm go back to Ron's question. So so he's will you be attending workshops, conventions, and stuff like that? And what's your projected revenue in 5 years?
Yes. Yes, I attend a lot of workshops. And now I'm more refined because I know exactly like where, as you go through the journey, you know exactly what you're looking for, what you qualify for. Um, so essentially, for me, I love conventions. Like I have my mentor, Derek Anderson. He's from Startup Grind, and I got invited to Silicon Valley out there, and I also was runner up in the competition there, and getting an opportunity to just go out and just going through conventions, learning workshops. You get to meet different people, and you get to take you to the next opportunity. So Yes, I definitely attend that. And I say for my projected revenue in the next 5 years, um, well, I'm looking for essentially to gain because right now we're getting in our soft launch. So within the next 5 years, hopefully we can be spread it out domestically into the area and then working on our process to go global.
Yeah, so like on that question, so have you started on the traction roadmap and the idea accelerator yet?
Yes, I've started on that, and I also have financial projections, and
Yeah,
it's formula based.
yeah. So I haven't looked at your traction roadmap, but what goal did you set for 3 years?
Let me see. I have to look exactly.
Okay, yeah,
But and that's another thing too with the revenue projections. 'Cause for me, for the formula base, it's like we can have for this year when we do our soft launch, we can have like 500 people for the year, right? And then we can have explosion of 1,000. So once we generate that into the formula list, it expands differently, right? And then your idea of the idea essentially is to grow, right?
yeah.
So if you start with 500, you're looking to double that in the next year and double that and double that. So for right now, we're just starting on our waiting list, and then we're working on expansion from there.
Yeah, so like Ron, just to kind of let you know what we do with the founders and when they're learning to do their business model design. So this is like a kind of a revenue curve as you go along your startup journey. But what we always on the traction roadmap, we ask them what amount of money that they want their company, their minimum success criteria. And so typically, if you're going to take on VC investment, you need to be in the 10 million annual recurring revenue. And so that's what we do. And then so like we use this idea of a 10x mindset where when you're down here, let's say you got 5 customers, and then when you get over here, you may have 50 customers. When you get past that product market fit, you got 500 customers, and that's how we do that 10x thing. So it's kind of easier to start and just grow that way. So, but that's why we do that traction roadmap. So the the other thing that I think I wanted to point out about your story. So you still pre-revenue, right?
Yes, we're still in pre-revenue
Yeah.
until we do our soft launch. Mhm.
Yes, and so like so you've been working on this startup for a while, and so that means you probably have a full-time job, right?
Yes, I have a full-time job and I still do I still do gigs as an artist. So it's just like having time for yourself and also having time to build the business, like
Yeah.
scheduling things and making sure you're checking in with your team, like, being realistic about things. And another thing too, I forgot to mention when you're with the team, making sure that they're like, they don't have to be like exciting, but just as passionate as you are, because you want to make sure that they're gonna come through when you need them, right?
Yes.
So it's not just about because you may have some people that are like, okay, yeah, I can get experience from this, put it on my resume, and then I'm gone. But you got to think about people who also are like, I see the vision, I see where this can go, and their eyes are just excited when they finish talking to a customer or a potential client, and they're excited about the idea. They're like, when is this going to drop? Is it out now? That's when you get excited and you want to continue this journey because once it hits the market, it's going to explode because people already are approving it. That's in the market now.
Yes, so that's fantastic. So we're going to do something different tonight. We're going to do a lean canvas diagnostics of how do you say it, nailers.
Yes,
We're gonna
nailers.
we're gonna do that. So let me bring my questions up here. And so people in the audience, so part of when you go through that 30-day business model design or the business model design training, you have to get once you do your lean canvas, you have to get a lean canvas diagnostics. And so we're going to run through this real quick. And you already answered most of it, so you can kind of give like shorter answers here. So like your backstory, we're only going to spend 5 minutes. So just kind of tell me what's your origin story about, how you got started and your team and the traction and so forth.
Yes. So essentially, I started in the heart of the pandemic, in my last semester, City College. I developed my idea at Zon Center, where I became a prize-winning startup, and essentially, um, we wanted to focus on developing the nail industry, revolutionizing the nail industry, solving the problems that I was seeing within the community as well in the nail industry. So I developed my team along the journey, going through programs, like you guys said before, the workshops, cohort session, anything that I was able to afford, because some things are expensive, guys, once you see that. But anything I got invited to, I capitalized on the opportunity, and I spoke up. I was like, I need help. This is what I need. This is who I need to join a board. Who wants to come with me? So just showing my passion. And that's how I developed also traction along the way. I continue my journey, developing the business once I graduated too, because I still had that money. And I used it, like I said, to continue my operation expenses. Like, what is next? What do we need?
So how do you define your traction right now? What traction you have?
Yes, so for traction, I would say we conducted our manual beta testing. Did we actually answered our hypothesis questions. We essentially move forward to walk onboarding and, well, not onboarding. We move forward to walking through the application with people, so now they can actually get a tangible feel. Um, and essentially, we have a waiting list of almost 80 people. So we have people who are going to actually, go through the process, use the application, and we're just excited to have
Gotcha. Okay. So how do you characterize your customers versus users, or do you have customers and users, or do you have just customers?
We have essentially both. So we have the nail technicians on the B2B side, and that's how our strategy is on onboarding will be essentially like we have the nail technicians come on board for the booking system.
Okay.
So that's how we have the free booking system for them, because they need it for their
Okay.
business.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
then that will attract the clients, because they want nail technicians like, oh, I would love to know. I didn't even know my neighbor next door does nails,
Okay.
you
Gotcha.
know, but now I know because I'm on the app, she's on the app, and I can get my nails done right next door.
So how do you decide on the criteria you're going to use for your early adopters, for selecting your early adopters?
The criteria I used was based off of the features, um, and also the market now, right?
Mhm.
So when you think about the nail industry and me doing my research, there were tons of nail technicians. Like you can literally go on now and just type in nail technician in where your area, the city you live in, and you can see tons of people pop up, and you can even see some of their booking systems, like a link that they have on their social medias, and they have to pay for that. And even if they're not even getting clients,
So
right?
I just want to make sure I understand. So who are you targeting as of all those nail technicians out there? What what's the group you're going after first?
The people we're specifically targeting for nail technicians, we're targeting new and upcoming nail technicians,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
New and
So the ones that are just getting started.
yes, new upcoming nail technicians, and of course people who don't really have a booking system.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Alrighty. So and what problem are you solving for them?
For me, the problem I'm solving for them is the lack of exposure, the lack of exposure on both sides. They're already like you said, there's already people in a social media. And when I keep saying social media, that's where my target audience is. You will learn like people are going to say something like, where do you find your target audience? Most of my target audience on social media, because they need that to essentially like build their business and show their business, right? So that's what we want to do for them.
Okay, so like what booking systems or what alternatives are they using right now that because you're going to literally have to get them to switch to what you're doing. So what are the alternatives things they're doing now for their bookings?
Essentially, we do have other beauty applications that are out, and that just lets you know that there's a market for it. But essentially, we differentiate ourselves by essentially one only focusing on the nail industry. There's no other booking site just for that, and also elaborating on the features that we offer to support nail technicians. Not to mention, like, you think about different things like no call no show. We automatically can make that adjustment on someone's applicate on someone's profile, right, on the client side. So a lot of times some people say like, oh, this client didn't show up, or this client ran off with the money, or etc. We're like the middleman with that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you sort of hinted on your unique value proposition. What's different? So specifically, what value are you bringing to these nail technicians?
I would say the value that I'm bringing essentially for the nail technicians is not only essentially just exposure, but just the opportunity to, you know, own their business, the opportunity to start and cut their expenses when they're trying to build a business.
Gotcha, gotcha. So what's where are you at with your MVP and what's your timeline and feasibility for going forward?
Yes. So where we're at with our minimum viable product is that we're essentially, like we said before, we have the walkthrough of the application. So we're in the process of integrating our Stripe, because we have gone through the walkthrough testing. We have got tons of feedback, but we still, like, what I've learned is that you always got to keep talking to your target audience, even if, because you may meet someone or that is in the industry. So always talking to your target audience, and then when you have your social media, always keep engaging with them, and then people organically follow you. So
Okay. And the timeline for what's your next major thing you're going to get done?
the timeline for the next major thing is, we right now, like I said, we're integrating the Stripe, and we're integrating the backend software, which is AWS. So that is essentially like the cloud infrastructure to help with the application. And we're in the process of like major, like, our soft launch. So that is like what we're preparing for, is our
So
soft.
your next milestone is a soft launch.
Yes, that's our next major milestone, is our soft launch.
Okay, okay. Alrighty. And so is it technically feasible to build what you're building?
Yes, I believe so, based off of the hypothesis we have ran through, and we have tested, and we have determined true. you know, just based off of, talking to users, showing them the application, showing them the features, showing them what we will be offering, and them just getting that positive feedback, or even refining it. They tell us what to do or how to update it. So we have along the way have updated. So it definitely doesn't look like how it was in the beginning.
Okay. So what's your sources of revenue?
So our sources of revenue would be, of course, the Wear application. We do have a free application. However, it's as you go through the application, right? You find your nail technician that you like. You book with your nail technician. We only charge a 7% fee during that at the end of that process. So that's on both sides. Nail technicians will pay 7%, and then the client will pay the 7%. And then essentially um, we also have a subscription offer, which is also our retention plan. So for our subscription offer, we have like a $20 a month service for more advanced. Like say for example, we may get people who are a little bit more advanced or not new beginners. They kind of get the gist of it, and they kind of have more people. So we're gonna lower their commission rate, and we're also gonna offer them discounts on materials, because you have to pay for materials as a nail technician, the acrylic, the powder, all that good stuff. And then for the clients, we have like a check system. So once they consistently come on the platform for like 10 times, we'll offer them a free service on us.
Okay. Alrighty. Your pricing model there, you sort of touched on that, on that a little bit there. So I think we're clear on that. So how would you describe which business model type you have? Would it be a direct model, multi-sided model, a marketplace model?
Yeah, I would definitely say marketplace. We have a marketplace.
Well, so like I don't know if I totally see that based on what you're saying. So a direct is when you yeah, but I think you're probably right. It is a marketplace, but I think you can actually model it as because you got to onboard the nail technicians, you got to onboard the um, the users, so or the customers. But so you said some things that I in talking about your revenue, that sort of kind of it sort of confused me a little bit, but yeah. So you're matching. The reason why you're calling it a marketplace is because you're actually matching, um, uh, people together and just getting the fee off of the transactions there. Okay, well, I'll take that as good. Okay, and then the final thing here, we're going to give some feedback. So, audience, what type of feedback based on what Megan has said about her business model here? Do you have any feedback on? So, the first question, when you're going through the 30-day thing, so the objective is to be clear and concise. Okay, so but definitely when we're doing this diagnostic, that's not totally objective, but I do want to point out when you're pitching, that's what it means to be clear and concise. So like when somebody says your revenue stream, like here, you would basically say we make money off our nail technician customers, and we make money off their customers. But see, so we make 7% off each one of them, and
Yes.
we also charge for some users we charge $20 a month subscription fee.
Yeah, and
So
that's optional. So it's like if you want to pay the $20 a month, then it's not going to be 7%, it's going to be 5%. And then we also get discounts on your materials. So we're looking into partnering with nail suppliers.
mhm.
Um, so that way it can be like a deal for people who are a little bit more advanced.
so
So
the
it's thinking who can like really afford it. Like, oh, I can pay $20 a month. And they're like, oh, because you can, let's offer you these retention plan to stay on.
Yeah, yeah, and so but the point that I want to make is when you're in a pitch, you have to be a little bit more direct and
Mhm.
concise about so it's clear to the audience how you make money. So you and I had a conversation earlier today, and so we heard you talk about your startup. So the bottom line is you just want to make sure, especially like on your traction roadmap, it's going to be a little bit challenging
Mhm.
to kind of model that, but you can model it. But what you remember what we said Monday night in the workshop that you do, you can start off with a direct model. You just see how that looks, But then once you understand your direct model, then you can go to your marketplace model and build that up. But start off with that simpler model first and make sure it's actually working. So
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so
So for our sources, we're just doing commission based on both sides.
gotcha. Yeah, and so a short statement like that, we do
Yeah.
7% on both. You see, so like you see when you can say it in like a little phrase, and it comes right out, and that shows your confidence, and you know what you're doing, and stuff like that. So that's the beauty. That's what I like about the beauty of that. So I maybe Ron is suggesting affiliate programs as well. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. We're working on creating like a strategy to reach out to independent nail technicians with a offer. So
Hmm.
we are in the process of that. Definitely. Yeah.
Yes. So so anybody in the audience have any questions about the problem she's actually solving? Is it clear what problem she's actually solving? So if you had to say like in one or two sentences, what problems are you solving? How would you say it?
Okay, hold on. I want to say this in a more for the problems essentially um because there's also a lower scale and then a higher scale, right?
Hmm.
So for the lower scale we're just essentially focusing on um building that exposure for independent nail technicians within inner city communities to help develop their business in the nail industry.
Yeah.
And on the second, on the higher scale, we're looking to like return back the economic dollar within people's communities, within the nail industry, right?
Okay.
So if you're thinking about it that way, just like we said before, people who just look like you supporting you.
Yeah. So like if I ask you why are you the one to solve this problem, what would your answer be?
I would say I understand the problem. I
Hmm.
have the team behind it and the passion, and I really love. I actually, it's been a journey. It's been really hard.
Hmm.
But I actually love developing the idea, and I just love seeing people who are in the industry who gets it, and to help people. That was always what been my dream, to help someone, and the fact that I have a solution to a problem that can help a community of people. I want to get that out there.
Yes. Okay. So like the let's see what Ira is saying here. So he's saying your problem um, is clear. Can we talk about assembling a team again? Because I guess he probably wants to figure out how to assemble a team
Yeah.
and how to get programmers and other team members to work on your project.
Okay, yes. So I would say, okay, so this is my strategy because I also had to recruit people, my coder, and more people outside of college once I graduated. So you got to think about community colleges, right? When you think about
Mhm.
community colleges, they need internships. They need internships. When you go to the school, check out the school websites. They literally have a website like, hey, you fill out an application, you set a roster, or you set like a task list of if they have you have someone for 2 months or for 6 months or however, and then you actually set them up pertaining to the tasks you need done based off of your startup, right? So it's like, for example, like I had a graphic designer with me he's in engineering, he's studying engineering too, right? But he does graphic design, right? So he wants to put on his resume that he does graphics design and stuff. So that's what I had him focus on. I gave him tasks strictly for that, right? And also we were aligned, like he wanted to develop his graphic skills and I needed someone to make my graphics, right? And you don't have to get someone who's like out of this world because you're building too, and you need someone to just see your vision and see you starting and see you like, okay, now let me help you advance this idea. So it's all about just using what you have and just leveraging it, right?
Mhm.
Just speaking out and telling people you need help and who's willing to step up.
Yeah. So Ron is mentioning something here about the affiliate program.
Mhm.
So, so, is there an approach? Um, so, because the affiliate program is basically kind of like just a referral, like people getting affiliates to kind of promote what you're doing. So there may be some possibilities there, but what do I want to switch? So like, um, so how did you get the idea? And this is kind of like your origin story part, but how did you get the idea to work in the nail industry?
I would say because like me personally going to the nail salon,
Okay.
there was a lot of problems. Like, one, sometimes when I got my nails done, I didn't like it, and then I had
Hmm.
to spend a lot. I don't like upsells. I
Hmm.
prefer like you tell me exactly what I'm getting, and
Hmm.
then not to mention like you get an upsell for something that's me personally doing my research and knowing the cost of everything now,
Hmm.
that it's like it's so cheap to get the material to do the products.
Hmm.
Um, but essentially it's just cost a lot of money for upsells and all this extra stuff. So I wanted to cut that out. And I noticed other people going through problems. Like you see memes. Like one thing I do keep the memes. And I do engage. That's how I also get my target users because people are speaking out about these problems. Like,
Okay.
so that's where I find these my target audience where they're hanging out in social media and I talk to them and I see the same problems that I'm trying to solve. That's essentially how I get them because it's like, oh, okay, I'm trying to do the same thing, I'm trying to solve the same problem, and we just align them up.
Yeah. So when you're pitching, that's see, like when you're trying to connect yourself to the problem you're solving, you have to talk about what made you aware of the problem and what connects you to the problem. So that has to be a part of your backstory. There a little bit. So because when you start pitching, you have to tell a story,
Mhm.
and it could only be 30 seconds or whatever. But you say, well, I experienced a lot of challenges getting my nails done, upselling or whatever, and I noticed other people were having the same problem. So I decided I wanted to kind of create, a platform to kind of solve that problem.
Yes, and also for the client side, I mean for the nail tech side, there's a the industry's booming. Like the industry
Mhm.
is booming of the people wanting to learn about the nail industry, but not learning. They're getting the artistry down pat, but they're not getting the business down pat. I just want to be able to learn what I've learned in business and actually help them develop that structure. So that's also for the B side as well.
Gotcha. So yeah. So if anybody else got any comments on our business model, or any feedback we want to kind of give her, because, but yeah, so like when you go through our business model design training in the lean stack, it we do a diagnostics on it, at the beginning, and then you can go back and get another one later after you actually get it refined. But yeah, just make sure you everything ties together, and I say everything ties to your pitch, and so if I look at this chart I have up here now, I would say like if I'm pitching, and I'm gonna tell a story that connects me to the problem, and I'm gonna identify what the problem is, and I'm gonna go in and talk about our solution and what's the unique thing that I'm gonna say. I'll demo how our thing works, and I'll talk about how we make money with it. And so that's kind of the flow of this thing. So just remember, everything ties to how you pitch, how you make money with your business idea. So you definitely can leverage this stuff. So it looks like Eric has a question.
See, why would someone want to use your app as opposed to use HoneyBook or client revenue?
Mhm.
Um, well,
Good.
for one, you got to think about this. Like, we simplified our application. A lot of things on the market, a lot of people are not tech savvy. A lot of people, you think again, HoneyBook is not free. Client you These are not free applications. We are offering a free application, so it's like a build as you go for the nail technicians, right? We're getting new and upcoming nail technicians, so they're trying to make money, so not take, right? So in order for them to start developing, they want to start their business, right? They want to have a scheduling system to start their clients to come on, right? They have to pay for that. So they're going to be sitting on our application for free until they have a client.
Okay, so part of what you're saying you're trying to do, you're doing a support system to kind of help aspiring nail technicians grow their business, and they grow it with you, and maybe that's the value you give them. You give them a chance to grow with you as opposed to coming in at some high price or whatever.
Right. And they get to set their own prices, their own cancellation. We're just helping them with our scheduling system, their calendar, to check in with their customers, just helping them with their business aspect and staying on top of that side of management. That's
Hmm.
all we're essentially doing for nail technicians. Because if you look at nail technicians independently, some of them are not, they don't know, like, a lot of people, my experience listening to clients, they're like, they have no etiquette, right? Some of them are very rude, or like, what you want, it's like a lot of memes. Then we go back to the memes, and you have the jokes, and you look at the comment section. So it's just seeing tons of people who get the idea, understand the problem, and understand what you're trying to do. That's really all you need. You don't need a large amount of people to make to essentially make have a successful business. You need that market to believe in your idea and want to work with you. So that's my main focus.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm kind of learning from talking to founders, and and trying to be clear and concise about when they talk about their ideas. So like for something like this, what we just did, you're elaborating and going on and so forth. But like when you're trying to get into the program, like you said, you applied for the that visionaries thing, and to
Visionary, yeah. Visible hands.
yes, and so they that's a program that they can invest up to 200K, and they're going to do 20 the 20 black founders or 20 black and brown founders. I don't remember which,
Mhm.
um, but 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 so the deal is when you're doing your application, you literally got to be totally clear. You can't be talking about writing down all these things that don't really matter. So when if they asking you, you know you know about your revenue thing, you just say we make money from the people, the customers that book on our platform, and we make money from the nail technicians as well. And
Mhm.
so it's got to be clear. And first thing, what I think too is that you should kind of say something clear, and then if people want to more detail, you go back and give the detail. But when you ask the question first, and then if they want more, ask the question, then you give more detail. But at first, you just give specifically what's being asked, and then let them ask for more detail. Because
Yeah.
if they don't understand it, they're going to do it. But any parting thoughts for the audience of about being a founder and going through all this process and stuff and this journey?
Yes. Um, I would definitely say it is a journey. I've learned a lot as a founder, leading a team of people. Um, I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, New York, first generation American, non-tech founder at that. And to learn how to develop an application and seeing a process from coming from an idea to now actually having a prototype and actually about to have a soft launch. And when you go through the process, you learn people, you meet people who are going through the journey with you or who have been through the process with you. So I recommend once you find someone, in whether you go through a cohort or you go through, you probably attend a session where you get connected to organization, because there's tons of organization um, besides this one. Like he mentioned, Visible Hands, um, a lot of people that really support you. So just do your research on that, and just stay up to date with your industry, because you may have to pivot. For me, I have tons of ideas of within the features complexity of how to make it more efficient when how to come about business for nailers. But I have to learn the structure of developing an app, right? So I have to stick within the lines of what's realistic, what I can do with my budget, and also the team that I have, right? And so resources wise, so just utilizing what you have, and also taking time for yourself, because that's one thing that I had to do. Is just like, you have to remember that you're one person, right? You're one person, and you can't Rome wasn't built in a day. And if you learn, you have a blueprint, which is your goals, that will get you. You have your We're breaking you down into your tasks that you have to complete. You know what you have to do, right? And when people ask you, or you apply for grants and they ask you, what do you want, like, what is your problem? That's what you put in your problem, is basically what are you working on, or what's your roadblocks, right? So just being passionate, and never don't give up on yourself, because you never know where you're going to be today. Like, I'm a prize winning I have a prize winning application, and I've been also in several publications. It was the Business Wire. So keep pushing. You never know what's gonna happen, and just don't give up on yourself. If you know your idea is good, if you've been testing it and you see people that really believe in you, don't give up. Because trust me, there's ideas out there that gotten funded, and you will be surprised.
All
So
righty.
don't give up on
Fantastic.
yourself and keep going.
All right. Well, we appreciate you sharing all those words of wisdom, and we certainly thank you for being on today. And I think you shared a lot of really good information to help other founders who are on their journey. So we're going to say bye bye to everyone, and we'll see everybody next week. And Megan, if you just stay on for a minute after we sign off here. Bye bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.